Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Get Booked Solid every Tuesday. Shawn, Lacey, and the amazing David Meltzer. What's up, Dave?
Hey guys, I am so excited at a different time and a different channel to be with my two faves, and even more importantly, super excited about coming down to my future home there in Naples, Florida. My wife and I are looking forward to spending 4 fabulous days before we go back on the road with you and Lacey. So thanks for inviting us.
It's going to be like a mini Egypt and a preview of the fall here.
I hope so. Last time I was there in March, we had record heat. So it was 96 degrees at 9 at night. So I'm hoping that we'll have a more favorable environment to have some fun and help some people.
Should
We've
be
got
perfect.
perfect weather dialed in for you. Can't wait. I want to talk today, if you guys don't mind, about value creation and for service providers and entrepreneurs, how to get overcharging for what it is that we do. A lot of people I hear all the time, and especially I think that we're living in a time that a lot of people are having difficult times economically. Just the world is facing a tightening of the belt, if you will. And so that causes people that have a solution, a service, the ability to change the world to also potentially retract and start to question their prices, their ability to charge what they're worth. I was hoping that maybe today we might be able to help some people free their minds from those bonds that are holding them back from being able to command what they actually are delivering in value to the world. So I don't know which one of you wants to start with some thoughts on that.
I'll start because I feel there's a framework for this, regardless of the meaning that you give the past, and all of that data exists in the past that is impacting your future. It's that meaning that's giving a limitation to what you think you're able to articulate and value. And so, number one, we have to make sure that the meaning of the past, the interest rates, the stock market, the crypto market, the housing market, whatever it is that you're giving meaning to, make sure it's aligned with where you want to be in your timing and risk tolerance. And that will give you a form of confidence and comfortability. Beyond that, you have to know two things when it comes to a product, service, or solution. You have to know that perceived value is an asking price. It's an asking price of what I'm willing to sell it for. It's an asking price of what I'm willing to buy it for. And there's only one criteria to define perceived value, and it's your perception, which is based off of your confidence and your comfortability. So I just said meaning will give you confidence and comfortability. So will alignment with your timing and risk tolerance give you comfortability and confidence. But practice will also make you more confident and comfortable, as you know, Shawn, in golf. That's what makes great golfers, and that's what gives them the confidence and the comfortability in very high pressure situations. And so we need to practice articulating a quantitative value to exceed what we're asking for. Now, there's only one thing missing from this Meltzer formula that seems to have been able to help so many people in this realm, and it's know your bottom line. You have to also, beyond the comfort and confidence in what you're doing through the meaning, the timing and risk tolerance, and the perspective of practice, you got to know the math. You got to be upfront and say, I am not going to take on bad business in a bad or a frustrating time because I'm desperate, because that's a guaranteed way to lose. And so if you don't know your bottom line and you're not willing to utilize the 3-no rule and walk away and say, obviously, this isn't the right time. When it is, let me know. You're really going to get into the deep insecurity, fear-based economies that exist at a microcosmic level and a macrocosmic level, because people don't understand how important the idea of comfortability and confidence is.
I think that well, I agree with so much of that. And I think there's so many different reasons why people have difficulty charging what they believe they are worth, right? Number one, you said giving meaning to things. And I remember one time my coach told me this line when there was other things happening in the economy, and I was getting a little bit worried. And he said, well, why does that have to be yours? And so I wrote down this line that said, the world's economy is not my economy, because you don't have to necessarily apply the external circumstance to your internal circumstance. And so many of us do that, right? And when you apply that external circumstance and make it your own, it can definitely inhibit you and limit you from charging what you think you're worth, or feeling like you have to compromise, or feeling like you have to lower your prices if you are taking that external thing and making it become yours. And so I really love that. It was so powerful to understand that you could even say something like that. Like, I don't own that. That's not my economy. There's these things happening out here, but I don't have to suffer. So I think that's really important. And then number two, I also think, a lot of us forget the work that we've done to be able to charge what we charge. I think it's really easy when things aren't going right, or you're not getting a lot of sales, or you're feeling a little bit in a rut and your confidence gets lower. It's so easy to forget all of the things that you did along the way to put you in the position that you are. And I always tell people, you need to sit down and you need to write your accolades list. You need to write down all the things that you've studied, all the books that you read, the hours you've put in, the people that you've talked to, the courses that you took, the lives that you've changed. And you need to write that list down, and you need to read it every day until it becomes a integral, part of your being, because it will instill the confidence that's necessary for you to say, no, these are my prices. And I did the work so that you can get the results, and here's why, right? And I think a lot of us forget, what got us here, and it's important to give yourself that pat on the back.
So smart.
One thing that I was thinking about our good friend.
Wait, Shawn, we're here.
We're here.
Shawn got stuck in the matrix. It's okay.
The matrix.
Just smile. You look so pretty.
By the way, today was day one of the Tallis Park Club Championship. Carded in 84 today. That's a net 75.
I guess that's good.
That puts me, I think I'm sitting in 5th place going into day 2 tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Great.
Golf analogy, because I was thinking about my friend Santiago Marie. He works with David Ledbetter, and was telling me about a project that he was involved with that was a new take on a betting app that would allow you to buy players, and they would have a value like a stock. So rather than say I have the Chargers, but the Chargers lost, so I lost my money. The Chargers lost, so their value went down. But then the Chargers go on a 3-game win streak and the value goes up. Then I could decide to maybe get out of that, or I could hold them. And the reason why I thought of that is because as I listened to both of you share your wisdom, I think that what happens to a lot of us that get tied to these anchors of the past that we've given, and not only just given meaning, but we've given indelible meaning. I mean, it's very difficult to move off of some of these things that we've given meaning to, especially when it comes to self-worth, when it comes to our value, when it comes to our mindset and our belief sets around money. But it's not a zero-sum game either. We're playing this on a day-by-day basis. And I think one of the things that happens when we get hurt by, or we question our value, is we get hurt by a no, the fear of rejection. And I think that's why I was thinking of that app. Maybe today I did 3 or 4 pitches with my perceived value, and maybe I received several not nows, but it's easy for us to easily fall into the trap of I've lost, it's a complete loss. Today was a disaster, versus maybe just temporarily for my offer, for my sales pitch, you mentioned practice, for my prospecting maybe my stock has gone down. I need to recreate value. I need to reapproach the pitch. I need to seek mentorship or wisdom. We don't always have to play this zero-sum game when it comes to our own self-worth. I think that a lot of us are either in our books, in our own books, worth 0 or worth 100.
Right.
Yeah, it's because we're not taking inventory of 3 things to be annoying and repetitive. When we understand that our stock value is based off of our skills, like Lacey said, our skills only progress if we keep practicing them. Our knowledge of who and what only increases. And of course, maintaining or an increase in our desire. And so instead of playing that zero-sum game, taking inventory of the skills, knowledge, and desire, aligning it, like Lacey suggested, not everything is doing bad.
Right.
And so when you take inventory of your skills, knowledge, and desire, you create my economy by taking the skills, knowledge, and desire and making it applicable to what's doing well today, what's stable today, and what you think will be doing well in the future, and then divide out the amount of time that you want to spend in each of those areas, what's doing well, what's stable, and what you think is doing in the future, according to the alignment of the skills, knowledge, and desires by the jobs, industries, and careers that are doing well. And that's exactly what I did during COVID. Coming from a business that was based off of the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, Breeders' Cup, ESPYs, Emmys, Oscars, and Grammys with millions of dollars of deposits. And March 17th, finding out the NBA was closed gave me an inclination that so was every single one of the things that I had deposits on. I also just took inventory of my economy and said, hey, I have these extraordinary skills. I have extraordinary knowledge of who and what. I have a great desire. Now let's think about this and align not with the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, and Breeders' Cup, but align all that with Zoom, with StreamYard, with Riverside, with what I can do within the context of those events that is not showing up at SoFi Stadium, which also was closed. My newest investment with a 10-year lease at a stadium I couldn't get into, and tickets to games and concerts that weren't going to happen. And year of my entire life until the next year, when I continue to use this process and create, like Lacey so eloquently stated, it's my economy, not theirs.
You know what I was thinking while you were saying that, and I love this concept that you laid out, is when I think about the economy, like one of the fundamentals of the economy is that there needs to be value put out into the world, and there needs to be an exchange. And the faster that exchange occurs and the more that exchange occurs, the better the economy does, right? And so if we're taking that concept and we're applying it to self, that means that you can begin to understand how much control you have over your own economy by increasing your value and increasing your frequency of exchange. So if you have something of value that you can put into the world, something that you can solve, do it better and do it faster, and you can control and increase your economy at any time. So if you believe that the one fundamental is, happens in our world, that can happen in your world too. And I think that's really powerful. So, because you were talking about looking at your skills and the things that you have, and if you have a solution for people, increase how you do it faster and do it better, and you will win. That's just the way it works.
I love you use the word faster, by the way, as well. A lot of people don't look at velocity when they're looking at success. And faster, what I call acceleration, is a key component, along with the aggregation and the exponentiality of those outcomes that occur. But a lot of people ignore the timing, the speed, the velocity. That faster, absolutely a great component to success, no matter what the outside looks like.
Yep.
Among the many streams of income that you have, Dave, one of the ones that I think a lot of people really admire is your ability to command a fee for speaking. One, not everybody's good at speaking. And so, you obviously have to check that box. So where there's a demand, and when you speak, you provide value to the audience. But then that next threshold of like, hey, I want to be paid to deliver that value. I mean, I think that is the ultimate, and it's a communication form. You're delivering value through your words and your presence. And people are saying, okay, well, I want to remunerate you for that. Walk us through how you scaled up to commanding the fees that you get today, because on the surface it could be like, well, if you were Dave Meltzer, you can get $100,000 for a speaking engagement, but if you're me, I'll never be able to get that. How does someone like me get to that level where you are today?
Well, use a framework where we started out on knowing your time and risk tolerance, comfort and comfortability, understanding perceived value and bottom line. Perceived value for me never changed. So I started at $5,000 perceived value, spoke 100 times my very first year, and most of the time I got zero. Sometimes I got free golf or free room, and one time, maybe two times in the first year I got 5,000. But at the very end of the year, after I got two 5,000s, I asked the person, "What's your budget?" And it was a big financial conference, and they said 25,000. I said, "I'll do it for that." And I ended up jumping to 25,000. I was going to go to 10. So for me, the jumps that I wanted, the confident was the barometer. 5,000, zero bottom line. 10,000, zero bottom line. Depending on the situation, somewhere between there. Then it was going to be 25, zero bottom line or higher. Then it was 50, zero bottom line or higher. Then it jumped to 100, zero bottom line or higher. What do I mean by zero bottom line or higher? Depending on the situation, right? I would still speak for free because I have multiple streams of income, and there's variable ways in which I can get more than $100,000. For example, if someone was willing to give me a year-long consulting engagement with equity, that might be a 7-figure speaking engagement. Mm-hmm. So I'm more than happy to take a bottom line of zero for that speaking engagement. But the way that you get there, I believe those are good milestones: 5, 10, 25, 50, and 100. And it's a matter of you knowing how comfortable and confident you are in articulating the value. And I'll give you the best way that I've organized this whole idea, whether it's speaking, coaching, whatever. Value is derived in 2 ways: giving people what they like, what's working, or what they know more of, or taking away what they don't like, what's not working, or they don't know. Mm-hmm. And so in the realm of speaking, in order to do that, there's only 2 ways you can do that. You can either sell a shitload of tickets or sponsorship because you're the speaker, or you can impact people. And you can get there both ways. There's very few, by the way, speakers on earth that do both. Very few. There's tons of guys that can sell tickets, but they're not very impactful. And then there's really impactful people, but they don't sell many tickets. Mm-hmm. Tony Robbins, to me, one of those guys, man, he can sell tickets and he's impactful to me. Perception. So what I do every day is I'm at $100,000. So no matter who asks me, how much are you? I'm 100,000. If somebody asks Nick, Colleen, Justin, Marissa, my daughter, how much is your dad to speak? I want him to speak. He's $100,000. And then you pause. You don't immediately start negotiating against yourself. Most of the new speakers that I know they're not seasoned enough to sell, because I'll ask them, they want me to coach them in speaking to get where I am or better. And they'll say, this is what I want. I'll say, okay, my first question, how much are you? I'm like, we got a long way to go. Mm-hmm. And 95 or more percent of the people, when you ask them and they tell you they're a professional speaker, they do that for a living, and you say, well, how much are you? They don't let you know how much they are right away because they're not comfortable and confident in articulating why.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
How do you, so that's a great jump. Like, hey, I'm 100,000, and then I just shut up. But then you said there might not be comfortable articulating why. What if, how did you answer that? Or how
I know my bottom line. Let me give my favorite story because it illustrates this perfectly. The Boy Scouts of America, they called me and were interested in me speaking. My bottom line was zero because it's the Boy Scouts of America, 7,000 Boy Scouts. It's going to have incredible impact, great post-production content, a great promotional, a bunch of reasons why I would take zero. I almost blew it. They said, hey, we're either going to hire you or Mike Tirico from ESPN. How much are you? And I almost, the competitive nature was like, I'll do it for free. thinking that would get me the gig. Instead, I said, I'm 100 grand. Oh, you're more than Mike Tirico? Yeah, of course I am. Well, he's more famous than you. Oh, yeah, he's way more famous. He's on ESPN. He does the Masters. He's way more famous than me. Well, how can you charge more? I said, well, you're looking then for someone who's going to sell tickets to the gala. No. It's Boy Scouts of America. Every group brings people. It's already pre-sold. We don't need to sell tickets. I said, oh, then why are you hiring Mike? Well, what do you mean? I said, well, Mike's more famous than I am. He'll sell more tickets than I will. Why are you hiring him? What are you looking to do? They said, we're looking to raise more money than we did last year. I said, oh, what'd you raise? 1.2 million. I said, oh, well, I guarantee that I'll raise over $2 million for you. Or you don't have to pay me the $100,000. Are you serious? Of course I'm serious. Now, why was I so serious, comfortable, and confident in being serious? Because one, I knew I'm more impactful than Mike Tirico and I could raise more money than him because that's what I do. I raise money either for charities or businesses. That's what I do every day. But even two, I really didn't give a shit that whether or not I got paid because I was almost ready to do it for free anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm able to guarantee it and I do it, I got 100 grand. I was not going to be willing, willing not to take.
Give up anyway.
Yeah. And this happens all the time. Now, here's the funny thing, right? I asked, so, they said, well, we don't have 100 grand. Even though I guaranteed it, I said, well, you can't you once you want $1 million more dollars, you're not going to pay me an extra 25. They're like, well, our budget's 75. And that's what Mike is. I'm like, all right, I'll guarantee 70 for 75,000. I'll guarantee $2 million. And from zero, we raised 2.4 million. I ended up getting $75,000 for something I would do for free. And they ended up $1 million extra in the Boy Scouts. And it's a win-win.
Absolute win. I want to be respectful of your time.
You got golf on your brain, buddy.
Do you have to jump off?
No. Let's go. Keep going.
Oh, good.
Perfect.
He's hitting me. I love that. And I think that it's so interesting how much that hesitancy can show how confident you are. There is such a correlation, and it happens all the time. I mean, we're talking about speaking, but I want everybody out there, this happens on a micro level too. This happens in front of your prospects. This happens in front of potential collaborative relationships. This happens in your sales conversations. That little voice inside you that says, don't say that, don't ask for that, don't do that, don't tell them that, don't charge that comes out in a moment of hesitation that actually creates the very thing that you were thinking about. And if you can just override that hesitancy through creating confidence before you do those things, then you will be able to create opposite of that, right? You'll be able to create the success, the opportunity, and the win on both sides. And so I think it's just important to recognize that it happens all over, but it happens because of the thoughts that create the hesitancy that drive the situation. So change the thoughts and change the situation.
Dave talked about repetition. So the practice of making that ask. Do you have any tips on how we can get better? I feel like personally, I've gotten a lot better myself over the last 5 years of just asking for things. I love, rejection therapy?
Rejection armor.
The rejection therapy where he just asked 100 days of rejection.
Jia Zhang. The TED Talk.
The 100 days of rejection. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten a lot better at just asking for things.
4 years of rejection. It was called high school.
See,
ask Julie.
Well, yeah, she was.
You were protected, promoted, and prepared.
She was preparing you, yes, for later life. But any tips on building up our rejection armor? Because I think so many people are just afraid to ask. And listen, you and I live this. I see you do it where you're like, hey, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. Call me if I can help you. And nobody does it. And I always sit and think like, why would people not? And what I think is like, even then they think that even though the guy just gave me his phone number, he's probably not going to answer. I will feel rejected. we live our lives so fear of this
Hmm.
rejection. And I get it. If you're asking a girl out on a date, yes, but like, why not ask the Boy Scouts for your speaking fee? Why not ask that prospect for your coaching fee or your consultation fee or whatever it is? Why are we so weird about that?
It's so interesting. I think there's two things. You know, one, a lot of people aren't prepared to ask. So when I give them my cell phone number, I think part of it is they're afraid of rejection. I won't answer, you know, it's BS, it's a waste of their time. But a lot of it is they're not prepared. So I give them my cell phone number. They don't know what they want to ask me or call me for. They realize, like, holy shit, if I call him, I actually have to articulate what I want or how he could help or have an actual question. And so I think that holds true, that a lot of times we don't know what we want or how to ask. It's fun to watch your own children in dating and seeing them learn about the fear of, I can't talk to that girl. You know, and you see it as a parent on the outside. You're like, my kid's genius, he's the best looking athlete, wealthy, has a great car. Like, what girl wouldn't want to go out with my son? And he sees himself completely differently because he's never asked a girl. He's right. He's never said, hey, would you like to come over or go study or whatever it is. But even in golf, you know, he's on the golf team. He's only freshman, and the older boys really like him. I will now, I won't play. I'll drive and do my calls, but I get to be with him, and he gets to drive, you know, be in the cart. And the older boys were playing in front of us, and the one kid's a +5 going to UCLA, and I'm, you know, on the 18th up top with him, and he's like, is yours Mr. Meltzer? He goes, your son's Miles. I said, yes. He goes, man, he's really good. He goes, you know, he should play with us, you know, because they're on the same team, but he's a freshman. And I was like, yeah. I go, he goes, you got to tell him to ask us. So like I had to coach Miles to saying, hey man, just say, if you ever need a fourth, let me know. And even though I told him the guy really liked him and wanted to mentor him and help him be a great golfer and get a scholarship to college, because it's going to make him feel really good, better than him going to say, I worked with this kid and now he's coming to UCLA. I was a senior when he was a freshman in high school. Now he's going to be a freshman at UCLA. That, I know the story. In his mind, he still hasn't asked him because he is not comfortable asking that question. And the way that we get over it is I'm starting to say, ask me. Just ask me. And I just keep saying, yeah, of course I would play with you. When do you want to play? Right. And just the more you ask, and eventually he's going to feel comfortable when he's in a position, maybe that no one's around, and just say, hey, Steve, if you ever need a fourth, you know, I'd love to play with you. And I guarantee this kid's going to be like, great, we're playing on Saturday. You know, I'll pick you up because I know you don't have a license, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and you never know who's going to say yes. If you have Dave's cell phone number, do not text him this. But I remember early in our relationship, I was like, hey, can you get tickets to the Orange Bowl? Because I just asked. And you were like, yeah, I'm on the Rose Bowl committee. Yeah. And then next thing I know, I just had the tickets because I asked, right? And I wouldn't expect you to just one day be sitting at home and say, I wonder if Shawn wants to go to the Orange Bowl. So even then, like that senior is probably not just sitting around saying, I wonder if Miles Meltzer wants to play golf with us.
Right.
You have
so
to ask.
Smart.
Yeah, you have to ask. And I think that what a valuable lesson. And I love that. Just practice. I'm going to start practicing on Lacey, just asking for all kinds of things that I want from
I practice begging. I practice begging, Julie. It's more than asking.
I was going to say, he asked.
Please.
Can I have something to eat? That's what I say. Where can people catch you? Where can people catch you next, Dave? People that want to catch up with you and get your cell phone number and hang out with you, where can they see you?
Hold on one second. Like playing tennis with Julie. Visualizations. Look, if you want to ask, we're going to be in Florida with the amazing Shawn and Lacey. We'll be in Naples, Boca, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale. We're doing a full tour from Friday until Wednesday. So please join us in Florida, Nashville, New York, Orange County. I'll be at the expo tomorrow in Anaheim with the VIP dinner, Meltzer Falk, Maria Diamond, many, many more. Just email me, please. If you're afraid to call me, you got my cell, but david@dmeltzer.com. Always invited, not obligated. I did get my first death threat at 5 a.m. on Sunday. Yeah, crazy dude. He's like, dude, you email me way too much. I'm like, well, instead of threatening my life, you could block me or give me your email. I'll unsubscribe you. And I got the F word and I'm going to hunt you down. And I said, hurt people. I hope I can help you not be so hurt. And please don't hurt me. So please, if you want to give me a death threat, I'm happy to help you. But it scares me because, not that I'm in this league, but somebody killed Gandhi. And he's a pretty nice dude. So there's some crazies out there. Don't be so crazy. Help people. Be kind to your future self. And I can't wait to look for my new house in Naples, right in the neighborhood. I'm going to be winning the club championship because I got a 20 handicap now. And every once in a while, I can bang out a 79 with the 20 handicap. Wow. So I can beat anybody.
That's very impressive. That'd be a 59. Yep. All right, well, we can't wait to see you here. Can't wait to have you here connecting with everybody. Naples is pumped up to see the Meltzers come to town. Then off to Boca, off to Miami, off to Fort Lauderdale, all of those things. If you're in those areas, reach out to me, Lacey, or David. We'd love to get you plugged in. Plenty of opportunity to come and hang out with us. We'd love to see you. We'll be back again next Tuesday on Get Book Solid. Dave, thanks for jumping in. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for your patience. Love you all.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to